"Let's hope these birds are as hungry as we are," I said. "If we could get 3 birds, perhaps tonight I could sleep better. Perhaps Kumba could gain some strength and hang on for another week." I took the rope and dragged it behind a nearby tree where the dog and I stretched out and waited. He immediately fell asleep. 15 minutes later, a small flock of birds swooped down and landed beside the trap. Kumba's head shot up, as if he'd seen them in his dreams. As they hopped towards the kill zone, I let my imagination wander. I pictured the warm fire in the courtyard, felt my hands rubbing the salt into the meat, then hanging the pieces over the embers. I heard the sizzle and breathed in the rich aroma. The sudden pounding of my heart snapped me out of my daydream, just in time to see the birds approach the bait. I was about to pull the rope when they realised it was only Ash and flew away in a burst of wings. I exhaled in defeat. I may have even cried. That night back at home, Kumba fell into a deep, scary slumber. I had a difficult time waking him, even with some Nisima and pumpkin leaves I'd saved from dinner. "Kumba!" I shouted. "Supper!" He opened his eyes and gave me a slap of his tail. I tossed the food into the air, but he made no effort, and it landed around him. Several minutes passed before he could lift himself to eat. His body quivered when he swallowed. 2 days later, I fed him again. It was only some pumpkin leaves, so I walked over and spooned them into his bowl. "I wish it was more," I said, "but it's all I can manage." But as soon as the food hit Kumba's stomach, he vomited it back up. I knew the end was near. "Just wait 1 month. We'll be feasting in a month." The next morning my cousin Charity stopped by the house. He was with his friend Mizek, whom I didn't recognise at first. Mizek had always been a big guy, a real bruiser, but now I could see the skull in his face. When he saw Kumba, his voice got a bit crazy. "Look at this thing," he said. "This dog's pathetic." Kumba was half asleep, unmoved by the flies nesting on his coat. He'd long stopped caring. "I can't even stand to look at it," he said. I tried changing the subject. "So what are you chaps doing today?" I said. "Going to the trading centre as usual?" Charity replied, "Perhaps we find some gunya, but I'm not so hopeful." While Charity and I talked, Mizek kept his eyes on Kumba like he was obsessed.